Teachers use SCYAuthor to prepare a mission for students and to monitor students' activity during the mission. The tool, accessed in the Sky portal, has two views, the Fine-Tune view and the Runtime view. SCYAuthor, accessed via the Sky portal, is used to fine-tune the mission. Fine-tune Pedagogical Plan tab and ePortfolio. Fine-tune ePortfolio tab and to monitor the student's runtime activity. Runtime View tab. The Fine-tune Pedagogical Plan tab comprises 4 sub-tabs: Pedagogical Plan, Scaffold Level, Grouping, and Student Administration. First, you fine-tune the pedagogical plan. The learning objects that are obligatory for students to add to their ePortfolio are selected by clicking on the checkbox in the Obligatory in ePortfolio column. When the students open their ePortfolio, they will see an icon for each learning object to be added. Next, you fine-tune the scaffold level by selecting the level of scaffolding support that students should receive. The default setting is off. When the scaffold level is set to medium or high, mission-specific agents will monitor students' progress and, if needed, provide students with mission-specific help. If there is group work involved in a mission, you fine-tune the grouping by configuring the grouping agent by setting variables for the maximum number of students in a group, minimum numbers of students in a group, and a minimum percentage of available students in an activity space before the grouping agent shall start its work. Finally, under Student Administration, you administer the student's account by creating an account and giving them a username and a password, and assigning them to a mission. The Fine-tune ePortfolio tab comprises 6 sub-tabs: Learning Goals, ELO Reflection, Mission Reflection, ELO Assessment, Mission Assessment, and Showcase Mission Description. Here you specify obligatory ELOs for inclusion in the student's ePortfolio and specify each ELO's reflection questions, which students will answer when adding an ELO to the ePortfolio. First, you select whether the students will just select the learning goals, will select the learning goals with achievement level, or will select a learning goal with achievement criteria. The listed general and specific learning goals are defined by the mission developers, can be edited, and new learning goals added. If the learning goal with achievement criteria was selected, the criteria for low, medium, and high achievement are added. When students add an ELO to their ePortfolio, they are asked to select one or more of these general and specific learning goals that are relevant for the learning object, and if required, select an achievement level or achievement criteria. Next, you edit the reflection questions for each learning object to be added to a student's e-portfolio, selected as obligatory under Fine-Tune Pedagogical Plan, default reflection questions and their format, text box or slider, that have been specified by the mission developers can be used, edited or deleted, and or new reflection questions can be added. Students are asked these questions as they add the obligatory learning object to the e-portfolio. Next, you edit the reflection questions over different aspects of the mission. For example, the mission itself, the inquiry process, collaboration, students' own effort, default reflection questions and their format, text box or slider, that have been specified by the mission developers can be used, edited or deleted, and or new reflection questions can be added. Students are asked these reflection questions before they submit the e-portfolio for assessment. Next, any assessment instrument to aid in learning object assessment, for example, an expert concept map, a checklist, or a rubric may have been provided by mission designers or can be created as desired. To create a new question or rubric, click the one of the links that begin with Add. These assessment instruments will be available when using the SCY assessment tool to evaluate the students' e-portfolios. Next, any assessment instruments to aid in overall mission assessment, for example, a checklist or a rubric, may have been provided by mission designers or can be created as desired. These are also available when using SCY assessment. Finally, on the showcase mission description, you provide a mission description to be shown in the student's showcase portfolio. To follow students' activity during the mission, you use the Runtime view. The Runtime view tab comprises two sub-tabs: Students view and Learning Activities Space view. The Student view shows which activity space students are currently working in and the number of ELOs uploaded to the e-portfolio. The Learning Activity Space view shows in real time which students are active in each listed activity space. However, only activity spaces with active students are listed.